Big 2-0 would be a fantastic result for SSG. Less so for Rogue, who would find themselves slipping into 4th place straight into the lower bracket. But Tim, without further ado, we are into the ban phase, and it's a double hard breach ban. So Thatcher, no doubt going to be a part of this map overall. Look forward to seeing that every now and then. Hibana being taken away is more for the focus on the downstairs site. So it's slightly strengthened here by the sheer fact that it's available. Imagine you could see a Kai ban coming through here. Valkyrie, Mira, other things that creep into mind. Wamai sometimes is a thing as well. But I think Valkyrie, as we've said several times, at this point, probably the highest ban percentage operator in the entire competition.
Certainly is. We've seen it I mean, to be fair, we've seen Valkyrie slip through a couple of times today, you and I.
Yeah.
We've seen a little bit, but as soon as Valkyrie slips through the ban, you see a lot of Valkyrie play. That tells you everything you need to know.
Well, Yas earlier on was 6-picking it in every single round possible for Dan Wonkia. Would start on like a Legion or an Alibi and then just change across to it, and I was like, why all this a 6-pick?
There's no point in the 6-pick anymore.
I think it was just in case it was trying to say, are you going to pick IQ? You're going to pick IQ? Huh? And they never did.
Yeah. But we will, you know, where Valkyrie is available, you will see a lot of her played. But she's gone, Mira's gone as well, and we're going to start out with SSG on the defence. They're going to head downstairs to Church and Arsenal to kick us off. It's going to be in the basement. We've got the Mute, we've got a Vigil, we've got a Malusi, so I would expect to see some presence away from sight here for SSG. It's not going to be the full textbook SSG roam strategy that we used to see, but I'm sure it's going to be a little twist on it, and we're going to have a presence on the top floor.
Absolutely. We know what they like to do, and it's not like you have to bring out the strat every single time. A small bit of variation on what you normally see. So I do think with Hot and Cold on the Vigil, Bosco playing on the Mute, they will probably look at heading skyward, but the rest will mainly focus their setup around what's going on in the basement. And it's also worth noting, the meta has changed a ton since the SSG roam was invented. For those of you who don't know what it is that we're talking about when we say the SSG roam, generally the lineup will include a Vigil to play on the ground floor, a Mute and Mozzie to go on the top floor. The idea with them being they basically blanket out the entirety of that floor and make it so you can't get drones inside, you can't clear them out. You then have a castle, reinforce or barricade off a lot of individual doorways and windows on the ground floor. The idea behind that being that if someone were to rush into site, then the members on the top floor, the Mute and the Mozzie, can drop through construction hatch, down bar hatch, and inside 7 seconds you can be back on site very quickly. So it can be very, very impactful. It can be very powerful, but some teams did start to figure it out. And Rogue are just saying, you know what, we know what you boys like doing. We're coming in for a rush. Here comes the drop. Whee! Smashy, smashy time. Straight in towards site. Skies caught out as one also comes storming down through dirt. They're in, they're planting, and somehow 7 seconds ain't going to be enough to get back for the boys of SSG. They've got a plant down inside 36 seconds, Tim.
But here comes SSG on the retake. Bosco, Hot and Cold, finding one apiece. It was Prano who was able to get that diffuser down. He's lost his life just after doing so. 3v3 now, and they're fighting back in, but Leon, he's got his heels dug in, manages to find one, shut down by Hot and Cold in the trade though. 20 seconds if SSG want to leave themselves time to disable this diffuser. There comes Bosco from blue, surely not. This could be the ultimate counter rush. 10 seconds. It's Hot and Cold versus Crying. I cannot believe what I've seen out of this first round. Takes a pot shot into blue. He knows he's going to have to stick this. It's now or never. Crying just leaves it perfectly timed, moves around, gets the kill, and Rogue, they get away with it. What a play from them. Hot dropping the hatch. That's not how you often see teams get into that site. It's usually down blue stairs or in through dirt tunnel. Get into stock, Hot drop the hatch, and off you go. Great play from Rogue.
I'd argue going in through stock is less risky than the normal go-to play, because when you're pushing inside storage, you're opening up the window, then trying to vaulting yourself over the stairs. If someone's sat inside a lounge or in garage, they're going to hear that break open. The doorway just a little bit further out to the east, and the chances of someone hearing that inside of stock are very, very low. Really good stuff out of Rogue, and a surefire way of, like I said, 7 seconds and getting back to site. You can do a lot of things in 7 seconds inside Siege, including getting the diffuser down, killing off Skies, and making it near impossible for SSG to retake.
Unreal play from Rogue there. Love to see it, just doing things a little bit differently. We're at that point whereby they know they're in the playoffs. They're going to just be willing to try a couple of things, and it worked. SSG won't be caught out with it again. You're not going to get away with that a second time, but it was certainly worth the first. They're going to move site here, SSG, up to the top floor. CCTV and Cash it will be. We're going to have a catwalk hold. We've got mute jammers, we've got ADSs, we've got everything that you could hope for to try and keep this in place.
Yeah. This is looking pretty atypical for a setup on this site, right? 2 ADSs on Catwalk, 1 in front of the west window. In case you're wondering why that ADS is just randomly placed there, it's definitely not random. There's also a reason why there's a laser gate on the window. And that's because having Bosco on the Bandit means that you want to be actively bandit tricking, as we call it, where you're trying to place down your bandit charge as a exothermic or a Selma is placed onto that east wall. Now, if he isn't there in good time, it will just get opened up for free, which is why Bosco's having to hightail it back here, and you'll now see the said bandit tricking taking place. Now, there's 2 ways in which you can remove the bandit tricker. You can look to get below and blow out the floor, chuck grenades up there, for example, to potentially kill him or threaten him away, as Leon is about to do with a grenade. The other alternative is you go to the west window and throw in grenades from afar. That is why a laser gate and an ADS are going to help you slow that down. He might find himself blown skywards here from below if he's not too careful, because for the side of Rogue, they've pretty much got control of it for free.
Leon's underneath. I think he's just about pulled the pin. There goes the nade, and what a beautiful shot we get of that. Bosco down, wall opened. Well played from Rogue. They really are teaching some lessons to SSG at the minute. This is just running to sight. Somehow SSG managed to hold on, but it's with the skin of their teeth. 2v3 here as they still come out worse for wear. Skies, however, just takes a little lap around the site and takes one down with the shotgun. It's all down to Leon and Cryin. We've got a little bit of a pause in the action here. Skies has flipped back to the SMG. I think he's just looking to make the challenge, and it comes from the red door.
He's got a C4 on side as well, if required, but he can hold with his... Oh, what a swing from Leon. Skies didn't even see the man coming. Rampy in a 1 versus 2. Diffuser recovered. Leon has an idea as to where he is, but isn't 100% sure. In comes the plant. Can he win this one-on-one gunfight whilst the plant is going down? Cryin going to stick this one all the way through, and Rampy sees the man stick his head round the corner, but can't get anything off the back of it. That C4 from Skies would have really helped right about now, but he's got a lot of work to do. Swing comes in. Leon closes it out, and it looks like, by the looks of it, Rogue are dragging SSG into their way of playing Clubhouse, one full of pace and panache.
SSG looks stunned at the minute. I think
they just, yeah.
I think anybody would be. You know, this is just tearing in through CCTV window. Again, it's just all sort of smoke and mirrors. It's a little bit of distraction. Let's make some noise over here and punch you from the back. And it was really well played from Rogue there. 2-0, and they are racing through this attack at the minute. We're going to head into round 3. It's going to be gym and bedroom. SSG want no part of that either. I think they're coming away from these sites just really never wanting to play them again. They're going to cycle through to the 3rd choice and see if they can find something there.
Great start, great start. Is nil a global term, by the way? So they have it like America. So I don't know if they do or not.
Meaning 0.
Yeah. You said 2-0, and I was like, that's a very football thing for me to hear. Like, we don't often say nil.
2-0? 2-0? I think I've always said it.
Oh, Sayana's just tuned in. Like, they know it, but they don't really use it.
They don't use it.
What do you say, Sayana? Do you just say 20-0? 20-0, yeah, okay.
2-0.
Oh, they need to introduce nil into their daily vocab. It's a beautiful word. It's 2-0. Can really get the nil behind it. It's great. Really suits your accent, to be fair.
That's probably why.
Come on, Tim, give me a good nil. Nil. That was crap, but okay, fair enough.
Well, I wasn't in the floor, was I?
Nah.
Right. Round 3, setup is almost done. We're going to have the cache and CCTV hold. Don't have the east wall reinforced as of yet, and no reinforcements left, so the east wall is going to be left open. That is going to be quickly opened, I would imagine, by Rogue. They'll get themselves up there and look to sweep across, try and clear that out. We've got vertical holes being opened up, hot and cold playing underneath. There's a lot going on for SSG here.
There is. The problem is, in all the setups they've done, there's a, air quotes, lot going on. They're looking busy, it's looking quite complex, it's looking sprawling, like they're saying, look, Clubhouse is ours. We've paid the rent, we've got the lease for the land. Get off, you miscreants. And then Rogue come in and just smash the place to pieces in no time at all. So, what I'm most excited to see is, do Rogue do a full-on slow clear across from Cache CC in? Or do they find some other cheeky way of getting things moving? Do they go for a stupid drop inside of logistics? I really doubt that's going to be the play. But they could get themselves on the windows, for example, and just have someone sit on the roof and watch the CC window rather than trying to go for a full clear. You have got Faults on the Maestro sat out there. Cryi's just behind him on the main stairs, by the way. So although Rampy's daring this Iana to come poking in, there is definitely action going on the other side of the map, and action looks like a grenade from below It's another one of those, as some great drone work gives Cryin an absolute freebie.
Just showing the value of those yellow pings. We've seen it time and again with the vertical grenades. That's going to be leveling things up though. Bosco gets aggressive onto Cryin. As Cryin moved himself back across that breach that he'd opened up there, maybe he didn't quite see Bosco in the side of CCTV, but either way he takes a couple of bullets to the face, and that is going to be the round for him. 4 versus 4. You just feel if SSG can get something here, get a defense, it turns the tide for them, because they're not going to get rushed the same again on Church and Arsenal. They're not going to have Aces jumping in through CCTV window on CCTV cache again. So you just feel like if they get this, they probably string a few together.
Well, it was the same as the reverse on Coastline, right? When we had SSG starting out at 2-0, and it was like, wow, they're really running away with this, and then Rogue get 2 more back out of nowhere. SSG called a tactical timeout. SSG go down 3-2. You know, the momentum can shift in the middle of a map for seemingly no reason, but it's normally because something they were missing or not quite clicking with has finally fell into place. Hopefully for SSG, now Rogue are playing this round a bit slower, they can get something better out of it. That Claymore on the drone hole, sorry. I've seen a couple work recently. I don't think here at SI, but we saw a couple work in the EU quals to get to SI.
We certainly did. Right then, here comes a little bit of a push from Rogue. They've got Jacuzzi Wall open. We see the Toxic Babe coming out from Skies just to try and slow things down. He's playing from in behind the shield there. Out goes another Toxic Babe onto the windows. I'm not sure that SSG are 100% certain of where this push is coming from. Rips does drop himself onto that valve.
Oh my! Oh my!
And manages to almost find one. Gets the down and the second. He's going wild. It's going to be 2 versus 1 now. Prano inside the site trying to find anything, trying to get it going here, but time runs down. He has to go for the plant. He can't do it, and that is going to be the round for SSG. And as I say, you just feel that could be a seal breaking.
Potentially. I think Rogue here, if they pull the trigger again and go fast in the early round, you know, go for these high-octane executes that treated them so well during Stage 3 of EUL. You know, we saw, for those who aren't aware, a completely different Rogue show up for Stage 3 of EUL. I remember they went to Villa, and they didn't bring a single hard breacher, and we all looked at that like, huh? No hard breaches? That's really weird. What they would do is spend 30 to 45 seconds droning out where players were, and then they would go, right, boys, go. They would pull the trigger, they'd jump in through windows, they'd charge through doorways, and somehow they would just make it work. They'd get the kills necessary, they'd get the plant down, and before the defensive team had time to recover, Rogue were just in full control. They were a really successful attacking team in EUL in Stage 3, and that's what we saw in the first 2 rounds of this map. It's not all about rushes and being cheesy, it's just about the pace, because Ace is vaulting in through the west window on Cash TC, for example. I'll go as far as saying that wasn't really rushy or cheesy, it was just well-timed aggression because the distraction was taken off towards the east. This time we go down into the basement, and SSG, not fully deterred, Tim, have gone back to a similar sort of strategy where they have the Vigil, they have the Mute on side. The big difference is, look, Hot and Cold is reinforcing up the hatch, the one that normally, if you're roaming on the top floor, you'll use to get back down. So I'm expecting we're going to see much more of a site-based hold here so they don't get caught by the rush once again.
Fultz on the Malusi out in Garage. Just going to put the Banshee down to prevent too much quick progress coming in from there. I think they're very aware here, SSG, of the potential for Rogue trying those antics again, trying to move quickly and get themselves inside of sight. But I don't think Rogue are going to try and repeat the same thing. They are looking to get themselves inside a kitchen and then move on from there by the looks of things. We've got one going up to the rooftop, which is likely going to open logistics hatch. It's Cryin on the sledge and then try to push from that top-down clearance. But they're going to meet some resistance. Rampy's under there, Bosco is supporting as well, and SSG are going to hold on to this top floor for as long as they can.
Yeah, nothing coming out of Rogue in terms of a big rush push. They are playing it pretty sensibly so far. Heavily focused around dirt, to be fair. Cryin, Prano, Leon, and Aces all up towards that side of the map, while Rips is looking down the main hallway towards main stairs when they force these players further back towards site. Rampy going to dip himself away, heading towards, by the looks of it, towards gym and bedroom. May find himself going down main stairs, though, if he feels the pressure start to build up. For now, it's all about wasting time and killing drones.
Rampy just continuing to try and hold logistics. Hatch doesn't want the drop coming in because as long as they're up there, this is exactly what they can do. They can keep shooting off the Selmas, they can keep them off Kitchen Hatch, and they can prevent that progress being made towards site. They also tie up Crying on the sledge, who isn't in opening up the mid-floor as we would expect. That's still completely intact right now. So Rogue need to find an answer to this top floor. For the time being, Prano's going to go in and try to do a little bit of work. Obviously had a bit of information on Fultz there. Takes a pot shot through the floor, but they're never easy to land, aren't those? And Fultz is able to just dance away a little bit there and just avoid taking any damage.
Reasonable stuff. Turning their attention now towards Dirt. Prano working his way down, along with Aces and Leon. They're pretty much all stacked inside here, so it might be a little bit delayed, but you might see quite an aggressive push coming in, because Skies right now is expecting more of a blue push. The drone coming in does suggest that they were thinking about blue, but it could be a bit of a ruse. Fultz got the long cross angle, currently 0-3 in the map, by the way, so yet to really have an impact. This could be where that turns around as soon as Rogue look to step in.
Fultz just holding that angle now. The push is going to come from Dirt, I think. Skies is there with the shotgun as well. Crying manages to get Bosco. It's all down to Rampy here. He manages to find one, finds two, and Fultz is supporting from the side. Crying manages to get Skies. It's a bit of a bloodbath inside of sight, but it's SSG that are coming out on top here. It's all up to Prano and Rips as they continue this push. With 25 seconds left to go, they need to get a move on. Rips is going to head down those main stairs. All Prano can really do is hold an angle before he tries to push in from Dirt. He might just get one with a bit of patience, but I don't think the man's going to expose himself from behind that box there because he knows the danger that it will come with it. Rips moving into the corridor, shut down by Fultz. Prano gets one, but they know where he is now. Swing around, Rampy gets him on the trade, and that is going to be SSG taking another round, and they are certainly underway here. I said once they got that first defense, it might just break the seal, and out they come. Second one in a row now, 2-all, and Rogue's games, they're not going to work anymore.
And that was a 4K for Rampy in the round as well, right? I saw the 3K flash over 1 point and know he got the closing kill, so yeah, a big round for him. And that's why you're seeing him full of beans, screaming across the Rogue. Bit of, I don't want to say intimidation, because they're likely they were just like, yeah, whatever, it's just being loud, but definitely let him know exactly how he felt that round went down. I think it was a 4K now that he sits on 5. Good stuff. Leon having another good map, sat at 6-3 as well. Crying at 5-2. So the same usual suspects as we saw back on Coastline, Tim, are showing up at least for the Rogue side. Now this could be interesting, by the way. Bar and Stage, and that is one hell of a reinforcement, wielding it like a shield.
I think.
I love that.
That's just a little visual glitch there.
It is, but that's what makes it beautiful.
So, Bar and Stage, as you said, SSG going to just maybe see if they can hold it down, show us something different on here. It's not a sight that we see too often, and I don't think we see it over in the NAL too often either. They're going to try to hold on to the top floor. Try and ignore it, Des. Try and ignore it. They're going to try to hold on to the top floor largely. Maybe a little bit of a presence inside of Strip as well. Rogue likely to push in probably from the stock side, try and open stage wall, get onto stage to get the plant down. And SSG, they look to hold from the hatch inside of construction. So that's going to be their sort of battle line. They don't want to be pushed further back than that. If they lose construction, then it's open for Rogue to get the plant down.
Rips has got one as well. They're going to have a sword fight, I think, in this round. It's going to be beautiful, Tim. Oh, small things can tickle me sometimes, Tim, especially this late at night. Absolutely delightful. Either way, it doesn't change how the round plays out. It is just observer sides. The players undisturbed by that, so don't worry about it too much. Here for Rogue, at least, we're looking here for a focus out towards the east by the looks of it. Rips was starting out on the east side wall. Now we've got Crying setting himself up inside of construction as well, whilst Leon moves in below, looks to challenge inside of the actual site itself very early in the round before they have full vertical control.
Gets himself inside of stock so that he can use those nanobots to give himself a little bit of a boost on the old health front, just to try and avoid that chip damage taking its toll. He's going to hold down through lounge on to blue stairs to try and catch anybody out on those rotates, but for the time being, SSG, they're happy to hold on to the top floor. Hot and Cold is out in front of us over on the Strip side, and he's going to try and hold that down. We start to see a little bit of progress for Rogue as hard breaches come in. Prano's going to get the wall open to give access to the plant spot. The bulletproof camera there will feed a bit of information back in. Fultz holding from behind the bar, but SSG pretty happy at the minute because they're not being moved around from the top floor.
It's Sorry. Yeah. Everything you said there is completely accurate, Tim, and I promise you I wasn't distracted in the slightest. The alibi being outside does mean that at least in this position you can look for the jump out, right? I'm pretty sure it has a timed amount on it now as well, so it will fade after a certain amount of time. Bosco, I think he was looking for a little bit of a chance shot there as well, but get to see 4 out. Rips down the deck, but Leon instantly reviving up with the Finker, of course, the boon of having her on side as she can get up those down, but not out. Teammates, Rampy with a big 3K, could have made it a 4th until Leon ends his reign of tyranny. Bosco left in the bathroom with the shotgun. It's all down to Leon and Prano. The work for Rampy is done, and he can just put his feet back now and go, yep, I've done the hard yards, boys. Now go and clean them up.
Leon not keen on peeking into the shower because I think he knows exactly what he's finding. It's Bosco with a shotgun ready to take him down. Leon is back up to near full health here, looking to chase the man around. He knows that he's inside a CCTV, I think, but he's got to go towards that diffuser. 25 seconds left to go, or you find all 4 kills. Both sound unlikely for Leon at this point in time. SSG having a much better time of it in the last couple of rounds, but Leon's got a sniff of a kill here, so he's going for it, but the man drops outside and he's gonna get himself back in through the main door, I think. Leon tries to just hair his way around into lounge, see if he can catch him out, but that's gonna be all for this round as the time ticks down. SSG take the win and they go 3-2.
He's asking, are they droning, Tim? The answer apparently is no.
I mean, there's some high energy. I think it's some high spirits.
Yeah. I'm here for it.
Some high spirits on the side of SSG.
I am really dying for SSG versus DZ because you just know what Canadian's going to be like.
Yep.
He had some golden lines yesterday. We didn't get them all because I'm told in one of them he was screaming down the mic so much that they just simply couldn't record it. It was just, so, you know, you can't really hear it. But the one we did hear was saying Bolo can't buy a round. Even with his subscribers, he can't buy a round.
I saw that on Twitter this morning. It made me laugh.
I saw a video actually from SI 2020, the first one you and I worked together, Tim. And Jackie, our wonderful host, was interviewing Canadian and said, here are some lines, had it written down on cards. Here are things that you said whilst in a game. Now, can you read them out for us in a non-aggressive manner? And as you can imagine, all the old historical quotes came out, and he was just stood there reading them, you know, very, very simply saying, I'm old as and have the worst gun in the game. Just saying it in a very normal conversation. And what I love about that level of energy you get is him and like Rampy, for example, 2 of the nicest guys you'll meet when you're not playing in the, well, they're still nice in game as well. It's all a bit of fun, of course, and jest. But outside of the game, they are 2 of the loveliest guys you'll meet. But once they get inside the server, it's all business.
Competitive. The thing is, you don't get...
You know what he's seen, Rampy? He's seen Canadian on the timeline and thinking, where's my turn?
Exactly.
Someone's got to be the villain.
I want my clip. The thing is, you don't get to this level without being competitive. It's as simple as that. You know, these players want to win, whether it means something, whether it doesn't mean it. They want to win every single round, every minute of every round. They really don't want to give an inch. Rampy was giving absolutely nothing in that round. A big triple K to really power SSG towards what I suggested might happen. And once they get that first defensive win and Rogue's tricks don't work anymore, it's going to be difficult for them. Now then, we see the Electroclaw trick as well. That's going to successfully take away an exothermic charge. Cryan, however, manages to find Rampy on a little spray through the window there. So that's not a bad play, but that is a big, big problem now. That's both exothermics gone. There's only 2 Selma charges left. They're going to be having to be very specific about where they use these, but doesn't matter. They don't need the hard breach stairs. They're just finding kills.
I would love to see nades nerfed at some point. They are obnoxious with how many nade kills we see. I mean, it's better seeing some nade kills come out than none. Admittedly, I do like seeing the odd one, but there are a good couple every single round, it feels like. And even here, we only have 4 of them on side. 2 used, 1 netting a kill. And SSG find themselves down in numbers. I was going to say between the rounds as well, Tim, you know, Rogue started out with a 2-0 and we've seen SSG swing 3 rounds back. It's the exact inverse of what we saw on Coastline when SSG started out with 2 rounds, then Rogue won 3 back. If we carry on the trend, Rogue will win this map 7-5.
Skaz is just waiting for that peek around the corner. He's got the shotgun locked and loaded. He's done some great work with it so far, and given an opportunity, he'll do some more. He knows that the breach is open, and he's just waiting for the sound of footsteps to signal the approach coming in. Fultz is going to lock himself down inside a cache. He's got the Alder on the long angle, and he's going to try to hold them at bay from there. He can watch mostly along the line of the windows to keep them out. It's all up to Rogue as to how and when they push now.
It is, yeah. I guess they were slightly blessed. They still had the Salmons, of course, on side to get things opened up, but not as open as they might like. A bigger hole, a bit more effective at getting yourself moving through in a more comfortable angle. Cryan's got himself lying down while they're playing again for more of these lightsaber duels by the looks of it, through floors and walls. It's beautiful. However, at this point, Cryan could be a big X factor. Think back on Coastline when he was caught, hidden away in the corner inside a lobby, and the damage that he could have almost done from that position. Unfortunately, wasn't needed in the round itself, but Rips starting off with a big one. Aces into a second, and like that, Rogue have shut things down at a moment's notice. Still, Tim, that balances things out quite interestingly here, where Rogue have not quite fully battled their way back, but they've definitely brought things up to 3-3.
3-3, not bad at all. A squeeze of the thumb and a click of the fingers was all it took for Rogue at the end of that round. Finka boosted, they went in, and they found their frags. We are dead level. The question is now, can SSG do any better on the attack? You've got to expect that they're going to be bringing something to the table. Can Rogue stand up to it? We're going to find out. We're going into the second half. SSG did win on Coastline, so a reminder, if they do win here on Clubhouse, it will be a full 3-point victory for them.
And in classic fashion, a very roam-heavy comp by the looks of it coming out of the side of Rogue. Now, for SSG to only find those 3 defensive rounds, bit of a kicker, knowing it was your map choice, but given the way the game is currently leaning, as far as I think Dev said earlier on, he baited me, he was like, did you know Clubhouse is attacker leaning? And I was like, there's clearly something else behind this. What's the percentage? He was like 49%. I was like, fantastic. So within a 1% swing, you are seeing 3-3 halves on average across the 6 invitationals so far. So pretty balanced in terms of the makeup. If things carry on as they are here, again, overtime could be on the way, or you might just find Rogue snatching it and forcing us through to a map 3.
It wouldn't surprise me.
No.
It wouldn't surprise me. Given the first few rounds that Rogue had, the reason that it wouldn't surprise me is that they're a team at the minute inside of this game, we saw it to begin with, that they're willing to just do crazy things. And crazy things win your rounds. If they can steal another couple like that, it makes it really difficult for SSG. But it depends. If SSG come in on the attack and just play this like really properly as we would expect, top floor clearance, move their way down, force Rogue back, they could make life very difficult for them on the defense if they try in those sort of different plays. So SSG at the minute are looking in that direction. They've got Leon inside of logistics, going to force him away potentially when they open the hatch. He's only going to drop himself back as far as Closet for the time being. Just take a couple of pot shots out of there. There's nobody circling around it, so there's not going to be any challenge immediately. There's a drone just above him. May hear him moving around, but we'll certainly pick up the white little bars flickering around it to show that Vigil is present nearby.
Yes, Prano and Leon both being quite cheeky. You have Prano up in dirt. Leon obviously actually sat inside of logistics itself, both looking to challenge quite directly into the hatch. So if anyone was lurking around the edge of the roof, then Prano would have had their number. Fortunately for the side of Rogue, for the side of SSG, no one was in that proximity to get caught out. So good job so far, and as one crosses back on the downstairs, Skies takes a little love tap. Of course, not particularly unhealthy at this point, but every hit point can count the later in the round you go.
Going to have all 5 back on site now. SSG, I'm sure it won't take them long to realise that they can start getting in and getting their work done. They've got plenty of hard breach. They've got the ace, they've got the thermite, they've got Thatcher to assist, and so they can start getting those hatches open and start thinking about pressuring these defenders down on site. Not a terrible job done by Rogue so far on the defence. Nearly 2 minutes gone, and we're only starting to get to stage 2 for SSG, opening up those reinforcements and starting to clear out utility. So still lots of work for the North Americans.
Yes, they've lost about half of that round or so in dealing with Rogue 2 is the one thing to consider. Leon, clearly not done with being cheeky. He's got to be mindful of the Claymore, which I think he impacts off there. I'm pretty sure it's been moved. No, the angle just ever so slightly off. Must be a matter of pixels, but enough clearly that it has not been removed. Now that he is out of impacts, he will not be able to make use of those ladders for a cheeky, sneaky flank. On the other side for SSG, a lot of their focus is around kitchen and the main stairs. Looks to be a moto and kitchen drop in terms of the execute, but they still need to get kitchen opened up. Salma's being committed in towards getting church opened up, so maybe not. Maybe it's a moto and church execute here, the kitchen more of a bait.
Could well be. They've got Crying playing hard under the hatch, but Fultz is going to take down two. He's just pushed his way down. Prano shuts him down. Aces gets one. 3v3. Skies is getting the plant down here, and this could be over for Rogue. 3 versus 2 here. Plant successful, and surely they hold on to this SSG. It's all up to Prano, but he's low health, and he's on the prowl. He knows there's one inside. A Moto gets him. Can he find the second? Bosco, he's going to have to play this carefully. He backs himself away onto the main stairs. 22 seconds. There comes the smoke. Prano might just take the opportunity to peek through it, but Bosco's eyes are better. Doesn't matter that the vision is obscured, and he manages to find his man, get the kill, and that is the first attacking round for SSG.
Really thought Prano might be able to cut it out there. A touchback on Coastline. He's one of the guys that I count on when it comes down to a big 1v1 or a 1 versus 2, the kind of guy that you want to clutch these things out. He's come nail-bitingly close in a couple now, bringing him down to 1v1s, but just not quite able to get it over the finish line. 4-3 to SSG, a good first attack, and that's a promising sign if you want to see this one closed out in 2, Tim.
It certainly is. SSG looking good on the attack. They're going to be bringing the Flores as well. That's certainly only going to add to their power here on the attack there, as we've spoken about Flores' capability and his strength so far, and it's certainly not going to make them any weaker. They're going to be attacking onto the top floor this time around. If we remember Rogue's attack, it was basically a big rush into sight. They just got that wall open very quickly. Aces hopped in through the CCTV window and they killed everybody. Simple as that. Now then, SSG, I think we're going to see something again, a little bit more of a structured attack from them, much like they've just done on the bottom floor there. Try and get the east wall opened up, try and get hold of Garage Catwalk and push in from that side.
Absolutely. I think you got Leon here trying to actively play on the bandit trick, same as we saw out of SSG in their defensive side. Maybe a couple of differences coming in here is looking towards 1, where they're being placed down, and 2, where the ADSs and magnets are being distributed. This time there are no laser gates, so that west window that we spoke about earlier on, a little bit more exposed. The flash coming in and a nade following in soon after will see the end of Leon. His demise will come, and the wall, therefore, will not be much longer for this world either. So keep an eye on where SSG start off on their attack. The one big difference I'm looking at really is on the attacker side itself, though. Faults on the Flores. I think I'm like a broken record by this point, Tim. The amount that I've spoken about the Flores, the bans that it's seen, the strength of the operator in general, an absolute nightmare in Leon, with a pretty unfortunate time to reinforce up. In fact, no, has support coming in from Red. He banded tricks on the wrong side, and they'll get this right side opened up, left side opened up, sorry. And now Leon is a little bit trapped in here, just waiting for someone to wide swing. Potentially it will be a freebie for him if they aren't too cautious.
The thing is, they're not going to expect him here, and as they move across the garage, he might just get one here. He might get 2 if he's lucky. He's just waiting, he sees his man, and he gets the spray down. But Skies, he manages to hit his shots. Those were essential. Des goes as quick as he can onto the flick. Fultz is down, likely to get finished as the peak comes out from garage door. Aces knew that the man was there for the taking, takes him down and leaves us 4v4. Whew, what a start from SSG and Rogue.
That's hard because they were relying somewhat on those Rotero drones to help clear out Garage, you know, to get rid of the bandits, to get rid of the ADSs that are scattered up there. Lots of work that it could have done for them, no longer able. And with that, Cryan should feel a little bit more secure playing up in Catwalk. And also not forgetting, the longer that Aces is alive, the more of those magnets he gets, up to a maximum of 8. I think he gets that last one with 30 seconds remaining in the round. By which time most grenades will have been expended, so you won't see it all that often, but it will help Cryan at least feel, again, a little bit more secure inside a Catwalk. If he can hold on to this, then SSG may have to change their tactics slightly and choose where they want to attack. You've got Hot and Cold and Skies out near the actual main door itself, who could look to come in through that west window, but I think they're aware of Rips running around downstairs like a bit of a lunatic and want to find him finished off first. He's prowling, looking out towards that front door because the yellow pings are given the idea of what's going on. May not have been spotted by that drone and could feel like he can find something here.
That drone definitely did spot him.
Yes.
If the first one didn't. That's going to lead Rips to drop himself down into the basement. The question is, how much impact can he have from down there? The SSG now getting themselves in to look for the challenge onto Catwalk. They're going to take half damage away from Cryan, and that's going to be the rest of it going. SSG looking good at the minute. They've got themselves the garage that they need. They can start pushing on towards site. They just need to be aware of Rips. He could be the thorn in the side. He's looking to push in, but I think they've got somebody covering the angle. Hot and Cold, he's aware there. He's waiting for Rips to push forward. It should be an easy kill when it comes. If he challenges it, he's just going to hold on to that for the rest of the round. 20 seconds left to go. SSG, they need to make progress. They need to get themselves into sight. That's not going to help them. That puts the diffuser down cold. Rampy, hot and cold, managed to get one apiece. It's time to get that diffuser going with 8 seconds left to go. Prano left at top of red, doing everything he can to hold them back. Brings himself into a 1v1 effectively.
Oh, the diffuser! It was cold on the ground. They didn't get it up in time. I thought someone was running over it, Tim, but they missed it.
I don't know what happened there. There was 3 left for SSG. The diffuser was down cold, and it was after Skies was dropped that it went down, but I don't know exactly where it was, and they just couldn't get to it and get it down. I thought for all our life that was an SSG round.
I really thought they'd find the kill, as well as one came swinging in from the breach and one was pushing on red stairs. I thought, surely Prano doesn't win here. And although it wasn't a win in the sense of he got all the kills, the smoke canister that got the man down with the diffuser in the backpack was enough to get the round over the line. SSG going to be lamenting themselves a little bit for that one. Really feeling that should have been them moving up to 5-3 and well on the way to victory. Instead, it's 4-4. Gym and Bedroom we head into next, as Rogue select this as their offsite rather than heading down to bar and stage.
They have gone we've seen everywhere from SSG. The question is, are Rogue going to do the same thing? Are they going to pick up bar at some point, or are they not going to be as confident in holding it for the time being? It's going to be Jim. It's going to be the other top floor site, not wanting to go all the way back down to basement either after the SSG attack from last time around. So it's going to be another top floor. They're going to try holding on to the east side again, in contrast to what SSG did, where they left the east breach soft. Rogue, they are going to reinforce it, so they're going to burn at least some utility, forcing SSG to come and open that. I don't think they're going to have any denial on there. Aces may choose to nip through and put a mute jammer on, but it doesn't really keep anybody away from there for long.
Bit mad when you look at it. Actually, they've got ADSs, laser gates, Goyo shields, reinforcements galore. Really committing into this eastern hull, which begs the question, what if SSG just ignore the whole thing and instead go out towards the west and focus on, say, Jacuzzi and playing on this balcony with someone just sitting on the roof holding that east window? That is another option that you have to play with. So much so the hot and cold now feel is pretty aware that's going to be a thing and doesn't have to concern himself too much with it. They have opened up the reinforcement itself. Now, the key thing about this is you don't have to clear out this side of the map. You can just sit on the rappel out on east platform and look to contest anyone that runs in from cache and tries to play out that west window. It does mean you won't cut the kills and you can't comfortably play inside of construction, but it does mean, hell, hey, you haven't got to commit tons of resource on that side of the map and instead can turn attention out towards the west. That's what they've gone through. The EMP's coming in onto this wall and the exothermic surely opening things up. Now, SSG have their point of entry.
Sky's going to take a little bit of damage as he moves across the drone hole there. Aces was led prone and managed to find his feet, crying.
Oh boy.
For a very cheeky peek here, and he might just get a little bit of joy. I think he's waiting for a bit of information.
He'll get rampy.
As soon as he knocks this out, I would expect them to react to it, but there you go. He sees up to the balcony. He's not going to catch anybody for the time being, but I'm just not sure that they're aware of his presence. He might actually be able to just sit there and wait. There's a minute and a half left to go. The drones are absolutely pouring in through that breach now for SSG. They're just trying to feel out this entire defense and see exactly who is where before they come for that final push, but SSG are poised coming into the final minute.
I think if Crying had gone a bit quicker there and punched it sooner, he might have found Rampy, who was sat challenging onto the main stairs window, but not to be found. He is down to a slither of HP, but wasn't tagged out by Crying when he got down there below. Now comes the push forwards. They're starting to find their way in. They've got control of the window on the south, and like I mentioned, you don't strictly need control of that east side, but Leon and Crying coming up for that west window. Rampy's got his back turned here, but Fultz on a big flank as well. Coming in through, sees the one, gets him in the backside as well after coming up, and Rampy with a team kill. It's unfortunate, but it's still 2 kills to the side of SSG. A 4 versus 3 as they make it a 4 versus 2. Bosco striking big, and Rogue going to really have to scramble to keep this round in their favour.
They do, and SSG have to be finding this. These are the rounds that they need to win if they want to win Clubhouse. Bosco strategically, let's go in. Step 1, 2, 3, work our way through and just get it nailed down.
Get the second seed. That's what they want ultimately, right, coming out of this. Absolutely. The higher up you go, the arguably easier opponent you have in third place, but we know what this group stage has produced. You know, we all thought coming into it, look, generally in a best of 3, the better team will come out on top. It gives a more stable kind of flow of how teams sit. But outside of 1 or 2, you know, clearing the rest of the pack in first place, I'd argue a lot of these groups have been super back and forth and unpredictable in terms of outcome. I did want to go and do something tomorrow. It's our off day tomorrow, air quotes. You've got content, rehearsals, so on and so forth. But I really want to sit down and look at predictions across all the talent, see who we predicted and who then, as a team, has the highest number of correct predictions. Say, for example, if NIP, you know, we predicted they won 74% of the time. I do wager they'll probably be the lowest. They betrayed so much trust and then went on to win in day 3 when no one picked
I had
to
a
win.
nightmare predicting their games.
Oh, it was awful for you, Tim.
Absolute nightmare.
I feel terrible.
They were very, very tough to predict this time around.
NIP in your head, rent-free.
Certainly will. We'll have a look and see who the easiest teams to predict and the most difficult teams to predict. I think that's the way to put it.
That's it.
So it's going to be Jim and Bedroom once again. SSG racing over towards that east side with Fultz on the Flores. Going to look to get it open. They got it done very quickly last time around and got the jacuzzi wall done. Their access to site was done and then there was no rushing from them. Nice and steady they went until they picked apart the defence. Rampy straight up onto the roof, likely to open the logistics hatch while passing. And then they can start looking to see just exactly where the differences are in this defence. We've got the Echo this time around.
Echo's an interesting one these days. We had a kind of spell when the drones became visible, no longer invisible whilst on the ceiling. They'd get tucked under like, on maps like Cafe, you took them under like the serving trays, for example, or if you were Empire, up in the rafters that many teams tried to copy and couldn't just quite get right. These days, it's more aggressive use of the yokais. You kind of see defenders using them to support their roamers, to get out of the map, feed information back and forth, rather than sitting static, I think, because for attackers now, it's a lot easier to find them and get rid. Especially when you've got EMPs on side, they'll just fall from the ceiling like a sack of potatoes, I guess. I don't know what a sack of potatoes will be doing on a ceiling, Tim, but they will fall from there pretty heavy, just like the yokai drones will. Crying, being burnt out slowly down to about half HP, 50 left on the clock. And good to get out of dodge, but that's red clear now for the side of SSG.
That's it, not ideal, taking all that damage from essentially your own gadgets. SSG working well and putting most pressure on from the opposite side this time, showing that they've got multiple attacks when it comes to Jim and Bedroom. Crying's going to drop himself away and move around underneath. He's just sort of disappeared off into the bowels at the minute. He's over in bathroom, and if SSG don't pick up, that could be a late round flank. He could, on the Jaeger, move pretty quickly to get himself back up those red stairs even potentially, but he can't leave it too late. Needs to be careful, otherwise it'll be reduced to a main stairs push, which is actually where he's now returned. He's thought better of his hiding, better of his flank, and he's just going to get himself locked down in sight. 5 versus 5, 45 seconds left to go, and SSG, they need to get a move on.
They do. It's amazing how fast the clock runs away on this site in particular, because of how much time you can spend clearing out this east side. It's like doing a full cash CC take in most cases, where you'll have reinforcements, you'll have walls to open up, shields to clear through, every manner of thing to get done, essentially. Aces holding here, a grenade coming down, almost catching him out. The man drops in, a C4 comes up, but Rampy a bit too quick off the mark, making a double. He's having a thunderous game here on Clubhouse. 2 big kills coming in. It's a 5 versus 2 for SSG, and surely match and series point awaits. Leon with 1 before Rampy steps in for a 3K. Can't wait to see what words come out of his mouth in the post round, Tim. Blank going down, Prana going to interrupt it out as we're down to the final 5, but there's another one. Do they know about it? Can they stop it coming in? They see it, but they can't stop it. How has he done it again? Brano just keeps on pulling these rounds out of the bag. SSG dropping the bag in the dying seconds.
Absolutely unreal. SSG unable to take out the second yokai, and that is going to knock the wind out of their sails. They should be on map point right now.
It should have won. It should be 7-3.
It should be. They know that it should be. Rampy just going absolutely wild at the minute, and it's still not enough to take them over the line. We're going to see all 12 regular rounds, and then we might even get a little bit of overtime as well. They're haunting them with the Echo, bringing it along again on the 6th pick.
I love how after all I said, I was like, you don't really see it used this way anymore. Like, I can't think of the last time, maybe early on stage 3, where the 2 yokais were used.
Actually wins around.
Yeah, like it's probably like Kendra on Team Secret, I'd imagine, playing on bar and stage Clubhouse. You know, it's appropriate to be there, but I have not seen it on Gym and Bedroom in forever.
Absolutely not. What a round from Rogue.
I just can't believe it's also Prana again doing it.
1v3, I think that was, as a clutch. Unreal.
There's a word here and I can't think of what it is. It's slightly not safe for work. I just can't think of what it is. It's a word to describe someone kind of scrapping a really dirty win over the finish.
Yeah, we'll move on before you remember it.
No, I'll try and remember it.
No, I won't worry about it.
determined. You know, Rips has seen what Prano's done and gone, oh, get me on some highlights. Come on, give me. Now he's the one playing on the Yokais as we step into CC and Cash. Prano going back onto playing on the smoke. We've already seen what he's done on a couple of sites on this map with that smoke in hand. The almost clutch down in basement. The clutch on this site last time when SSG dropped the diffuser. Didn't have time to get it back up and start sticking down the plant. So you'll be slightly trustful that he can do the same thing again, but just in case you haven't, then the Yokais are there on side.
Look at Rampy's stats going absolutely wild.
Scary, isn't it?
6. This is Rampy's world, and we're just
they're still
living in it right
5-5.
now. Absolutely unreal. But Leon quietly going about his business on the other side as well, 11 and 7. We've got a little bit of a battle going on between the two of them for who's going to come out on top, but after that triple in the last round, Rampy certainly gives himself a big advantage in those stakes. Ace is on the roam at the minute, going to take out a drone, but that means they know exactly where he is. SSG not moving quite so quickly to get in and try and take the challenge onto him. He's just going to try and hold down Lounge for as long as possible. I don't know if there's anybody playing. No, Leon's not on the double wall at the minute. I was going to suggest if Leon was on the double wall, it was potentially there to try and just keep him safe and avoid that challenge from underneath, but maybe just trying to protect the batteries themselves.
Aces with the right idea there. There was someone sat on that storage window, just holding the pixel. A couple of inches upwards, he would have found himself a headshot to start the round. Would have been the dream. And here we go now with the wall being opened up. You can see Fultz getting in from below and just looking to move away a bandit. But Leon is off in Narnia doing his own thing in the bedroom. Wants a little lie down whilst SSG are doing all the hard yards of getting Breach opened up. With that exposed, they've now got to find a second angle to push from. Whether that's the west window inside the site itself or taking control of Garage is entirely their choice. Last time they EMP Garage and crying, well, he was dead as a dodo, mate, going extinct pretty quickly with nades flying his way, the thermite getting underneath and fragging him out, and Rampy, he ain't ready to slow down. Another entry coming in onto Leon.
Just keeps rolling, doesn't he? Just makes sure that the man on the other side who's top fragging is not going to get any closer to him. That's his 15th kill so far, and we can see now work is being done on the reinforcement. That's going to make it difficult to hold on to Catwalk because there's just another angle that Cryin needs to worry about here. SSG are now working towards clearing this. They're going to bounce the nade onto him. He has to drop. He's taken out 4v2. SSG, they are cruising at the minute, but Des, there is one man left alive who may yet have something to say about this.
I mean, there's two of them. Prano's clutched up once. Rips again off to where Leon was earlier. Gone to join him in the bedroom, but found that Leon isn't there. But he's got the Yokais on side. The final 30 seconds does mean there's still quite a bit of time to chew through. Prano can burn through about 20 seconds of that with the smoke canisters coming out and chew through several members of SSG before Rampy takes matters into his own hands. Surely not. Surely
not again.
Oh, he's tried to jump. He's missed it. He can't jump. He can't get the stick. It won't stick to the ceiling. The plant goes off. It was nearly another big fluff up at the very end there, but they've managed to stick it. Hot and cold outside the building, and Rips, who's 3 and 10, has got to kill 3, make it 4, all by himself.
Fultz is going to recover hot and cold. Skies is going to take down Rips, and that is going to be round number 11 for
round 1 of SI 2020. Clubhouse against Na'Vi. Rampy dropped an ace and never really slowed down from there. I believe he was tournament MVP come the end of it as well.
Yes, yeah, he had a unbelievable tournament, as did SSG, to be fair, going on to lift the hammer there in 2020.
How times have changed. We're all in the LATAM age right now, but
I'll tell you what.
The thing is, like a few people have now said, every region is competitive at the moment.
Yes, I was like, going to say, I'm not saying LATAM aren't strong anymore. They are, of course. Liquid are crazy at the minute, but I really feel like a few new challengers have entered the arena.
It pains me to say this as an EUL caster, but I actually feel like EU is the least competitive region here at the minute. I think if you're looking at Empire, have been a little bit on and off. M&M still got a point to prove, you know, 2 really disappointing defeats, especially when playing early in the morning. The clock is their worst enemy. Yeah, BDS, unfortunately, having the outcome they've had, they were the kind of shining hope for the region. So it's hard to really see where we're going to have that big competition coming in.
What I would say is when we look at who's maybe the least or, you know, lesser competitive compared to the sort of more competitive regions, I would say that this, for me, is probably the closest field we've ever seen.
Yes, I agree.
The difference between, if we say, right, EU have struggled a little bit, which I can get on board with, the difference between that and the top performers is probably closer than it's ever been. This is, for my money, the most competitive field we've had at an SI. and we're going to really see that next week.
Maybe I'm just a really cynical person is one way of looking at it. Here we go then, looking to step now inside a stock. I thought for a second we were going to see Fault Skies and Rampy just burst into sight there and land on top of Cryan's head and get things underway pretty quickly. But no, they've dialed out for a second, droning work back underway once again as they decide what will be the go-to angle. Last time they got the church wall opened up, they dropped in through Moto. That was their game plan. Will Rogue let them get away with it again, or will there be some differences to be made for both sides here, with SSG potentially catching them unawares?
This is over in Strip on the Oryx. He's one to watch out for here because he could be a real thorn in the side. Leon is playing inside of Logistics again. I didn't call it at the time, actually, but I do recall it. I just love how Skies and Rampy dealt with Logistics a couple of rounds ago. If you remember, the nade came in from Skies.
Yeah.
And whilst Aces dipped away from it, Rampy was already dropping and he'd gone in and got the kill. It was absolutely beautiful. This time it's going to be a one-on-one fight potentially. I think we've got Rampy just up there on the book at the minute. He's got Leon underneath him. He's going to have an idea of the Vigil's location. The scanner is just recharging as it's just run out, so he's going to have been giving off those bars to show that he was in the area, just dipping away for the time being, moving himself back into Master. This is the thing about Vigil, you don't want to get your location pinned down. It's all about popping up from the unexpected areas.
Oh boy.
The crouch walk's coming.
They don't know.
The crouch walk's coming.
They have no idea that they've come down dirt at this point. Surely you'd have heard it open up, but I'm not too convinced they have. They've got the Yellow Pingers coming in. They know what they want to do. As soon as this EMP goes in, it's going to give the signs that things need to move. Now, no silencer on that, so they might even just know that what's going on inside of here. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was silenced out, but they know both of those goo mines are gone. So the calls should surely come through. Ace is the first one to start getting tagged up, but not going down just yet. SSG are down to just 2 drones, and we've got about 40 seconds to play, and Rampy is off the board.
That's a big kill for Rogue. Hot and Cold manages to find Rips inside a site, and that's going to be Rogue fully aware that they are coming in from Dirt Tunnel, but Skies is getting the diffuser down.
Hot and Cold!
Snuck in round the back. Hot and Cold gets 2, and Rogue are falling apart. It's over before it begun. SSG able to close out Clubhouse, able to close out the round the map, and able to claim that upper bracket spot.
Absolutely love to see it. 2 7-5s across both maps. It came close. Rogue put on a good show, but